Do you remember the last time you felt bored? And do you remember what happened right after? There's a strange nostalgia in our generation, a nostalgia for something we barely lived, or that we lost without even noticing. It's a nostalgia for silence, a nostalgia for slow time. We talk a lot about digital detox, about unplugging, as if we were addicted to a substance. And in a way, we are. But the problem is deeper than just screen time. We have access to more human connection than ever before in history. Millions of people just a click away. And yet, surveys on loneliness, anxiety, and depression just keep climbing. The question we ask ourselves quietly, as we close the app feeling strangely empty, is, were we better off before? Was that analog life, with all its limits and its boredom, secretly happier? Today, we're not going to blame technology. Today, we're going to understand what technology did to us. We're going to explore the psychology of comparison and the philosophy of burnout. The first big change wasn't technological, it was psychological. Social media didn't invent comparison, but it turned it into the air we breathe. In the 1950s, the psychologist Leon Festinger proposed social comparison theory. It's simple. To know how good, smart, or successful we are, we measure ourselves against others. It was something you did with your classmates, your neighbors, your colleagues, a limited circle. But what happens when your comparison circle becomes the entire world? You no longer compare yourself to your neighbor. You compare yourself to the highlight reel, to the best, edited, and filtered moment of thousands of people. Psychologically, this is devastating. Your real life, with its routine, its chaos, and its gray days, can never compete against that curated fiction. And this is where philosophy comes in. The French philosopher René Girard spoke of mimetic desire. Girard said something brilliant. We rarely desire things for themselves. We desire what others desire. Social media is the perfect engine for mimetic desire. You see someone desiring that trip, that coffee, that relationship, and suddenly you desire it too. Not because you need it, but because the other's desire has flagged it as valuable. The result is constant anxiety, a feeling that your life is insufficient. Before, happiness could be found in enough. Today, enough is invisible, because the algorithm only shows you extraordinary. But the damage isn't just from what we see, it's from what we do. Before, your identity was something you were. Now it's something you manage and construct. You have become your own community manager. The Korean-German philosopher Byung-Chul Han calls it the Burnout Society. Han says we've moved from a disciplinary society, where they told you, you must not do this, to an achievement society, where the motto is, you can do anything. It looks like freedom, but it's a trap, because if you can do anything, then any failure is your fault. And social media is the main stage for this performance. Optimize your profile. Create value. Show your best self. We have become, as Han says, entrepreneurs of ourselves. And the product is us. Our private life has become public, and therefore, it has become work. Remember living a moment without thinking about how it would look in a photo? Existentialism with Sartre spoke of the gaze. The moment you realize another is looking at you, and you stop being a being in itself, authentic, and become a being for others, an object for their view. Social media is the gaze, made constant. A gaze we carry in our pocket. We live as if we are permanently being watched. And that, my friends, is exhausting. Today's existential burnout isn't from working at the factory, it's from constantly working in the factory of our own digital self. So what did we lose exactly? What did that life before have? It wasn't perfect, it was full of inconveniences, but it had something we have sacrificed. The in-between time, the void, the boredom. Before, you were forced to have idle moments. The bus ride, the waiting room, the grocery line. What did we do in those moments? Nothing. Or rather, our brain was doing a lot. Psychologically, this is called the default mode network. It's what activates when you're not focused on an external task. When you daydream, when you reflect, when you connect stray ideas. It's in boredom that creativity is born. It's in silence that you process your emotions. It's in unchosen solitude that you meet yourself and build your inner identity. We have murdered boredom. There is no more in-between time. Any microsecond of emptiness is filled with a scroll, with information, with the lives of others, with noise. We have taken away our brain space to wander, to consolidate memories, to simply be. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard feared the present age because, he said, it was an age of superficial reflection, but without passion. An age where everything is discussed, but nothing is truly felt. He feared a culture that would use distraction to avoid the anguish of living. Pause. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? The nostalgia we feel isn't for landline phones or a TV with 2 channels. It's not for a time gone by. It's nostalgia for a state of mind. It's nostalgia for the feeling of being enough without needing external validation. Nostalgia for a deep thought that isn't interrupted every 30 seconds. Nostalgia for real connection, the kind that is slow, imperfect, and sometimes awkward. This isn't about demonizing the phone and throwing it in a river. It's about understanding the philosophy of the tool we use. It's about taking back control. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, spoke of building an inner citadel, a place in your mind that external events cannot touch. Social media is designed to tear down that citadel, to make your mood dependent on a like, on a comment, on the gaze of another. The happiness from before was perhaps simply the ease with which we could build that inner citadel. So the next time you feel that impulse to unlock the screen, ask yourself, what am I avoiding feeling? What am I truly looking for? Perhaps the greatest act of rebellion in our hyper-connected world is the simplest one of all. To look away and return to ourselves. Real life isn't in the feed, it's in the margins we refuse to look at.